Guys, and welcome back to Sew with Vicky. Today's video is a part 2 of this beautiful dress inspired by Rebecca Temple. And yeah, so I already posted part 1, which is the pattern drafting, and the part 2 is the sewing of this beautiful dress. So I'll also show you guys how to do the beading at the top there. And yeah, just definitely stay tuned and keep on watching. I hope you learn a thing or two. Please do make sure to subscribe, okay? And let's get into the video. First, we are going to be starting with the materials that we need for this particular dress, okay? So first, we're starting with the lining. So you're going to need about a yard or less than. And I have my crinoline here. I also have my plastic boning, and I also made use of Regilene boning. I'll show you guys later in the video. And then we're also going to make use of cloth gum, okay? Very important, both for your lining and your main fabric. Next, we're also going to be making use of Mikado fabric. So it's the Mikado fabric we're using for this. I used a total of 2.5 yards for both the dress and the bow. The bow video will be coming up next, okay? Now for the beading, we are making use of different types of bead. The first thing here is the cup chain. That's what they call it in the market, okay? And then we would also be making use of 2 sizes of pearl beads, okay? So this is what the 2 sizes look like, okay? Next, we're also going to be making use of this, I think they call it the rice beads, but the bigger size, not the tinier ones, okay? Now, moving on to the fabric. So remember we had 2 different patterns for both the top and the bottom. So you are going to be cutting your lining piece. So these are my lining piece for both the front and the back, okay? Take note, my front and back center, my center front and center back is quite different. I cut my center front on a fold for the skirt part. So this is what we have for the lining. Moving on to the main fabric for the front. Here I just joined the top and the skirt together. You can see they are very joined together, and then it's made a dress. So that's what I did there. I was trying to show you that, and then I went ahead to cut with my 1/2 inch on the side and the top. I didn't add any allowance at the bottom part. So this is the back of the dress for the main fabric. So my allowance was including that 19 inches when we were drafting our pattern. So I included my allowance with the length of the skirt. So this is what the back pattern is looking like. So I added my 1/2 inch at the sides, at the top, and then the 1 inch for the zip. Now we've gone ahead to join our lining piece together for both the front and the back. And then I went ahead to add a boning channel with my bias, okay? I didn't show you guys earlier as what you will need, but forgive me for that. So I already inserted my boning channel. So it's like at the center between the side of your bust and the center, the armhole of your bust. Yeah, that's how I put it. So I just placed that. I didn't use any basic measurement. I think it was like 5 inches away from the nipple to nipple measurements there. So that is where we'll be placing our plastic boning, okay? So I'm just going to be inserting my plastic boning on both sides there of the front. So it's only 2 boning channels that we are making use of for the front, okay? So you make sure that when you're inserting your boning, you have at least like 1 inch allowance so that you can sew in your crinoline later. So take note of that. So the boning should not go up to the top of your dress. You can see I'm showing you guys here that there is about 1 inch allowance. Now we are going to go in with the Regilene boning. After that, we'll go in with the crinoline. I'm going to show all of you guys this. You're going to sew with me. So first, you go ahead and cover the beginning part of your crinoline so that it doesn't poke on your fabric, okay? So I'll go ahead and show you guys that. Just be patient. I got you. Go into the boning of the lining, I decided to show you guys what the main piece is looking like. I already joined the front and the back together. This is how beautiful it's looking. So now moving on to adding our boning, we are adding our boning at the nipple to nipple line, which is our bust that line and our waist that line. Okay, so we are stopping on our waistline. So we are just going to be sewing in that regular boning. You are only making use of regular boning. I think you can make use of plastic boning, but it's a lot easy to make use of regular boning. So you can see what I did with that other bust side. We are going to do that also for the other one. So what I went ahead to do was I marked my under bust and I just bent the boning. So I just bent the boning and I went ahead to iron the curve of the bust. Okay, so that way you don't need to wear bra for this outfit. Honestly, it's worked really good and it's very firm and sturdy. So you are going to go ahead and do that for the other side of the boning. So you bend it on the under bust and then iron it with the curve of a breast. Okay, now we're going to move ahead and sew in the crinoline. So you can see what I did to the tip of the crinoline. I used the fabric to sew it so it doesn't poke into my fabric or poke into my skin. Okay, so now we are going to be placing that at the beginning part, which is where your zip starts from. Right now you are going to be measuring 1.5 inch. I'm going to place my tape, so you are measuring 1.5 inch away from the zip allowance. So I'll show you guys what I mean in a bit. Okay, so you can see my tape there. I placed 1.5 inch and I started sewing. So you are sewing it leaving about an inch so that you can join your main fabric, because if you don't leave that half inch to be able to join your main fabric to your lining, it's going to give you problem. So please take note. You can see I have half an inch left for the joining of my main fabric. So take note of that while sewing your crinoline. So the need for this is just to keep that top part of your dress, the upper part of your dress, which is the neckline, so to keep it very firm. Okay, so now we've gotten to the other end of the crinoline. We're going to go ahead and cover that part up. You can already see it's already poked on my lining and then pulled up the cloth gum there. So it's very important that you cover your crinoline with a piece of fabric. So I'm just showing you how to do that. After covering the tip of the crinoline, we're just going to go ahead and complete the sewing. Okay, so remember you're having 1.5 inch left for your zip allowance and also half inch just for the ease there. Okay, and now this is what it is looking like. Okay, so the top part of your dress is just going to be so sturdy. I decided to show you guys what it looks like on the mannequin, although this is not the size of the dress. The mannequin is not the size of the dress practically. So now we have already joined the main fabric to our lining. So we've joined it at the hem and at the neckline. Okay, but then I turned it over so that I'll show you guys what the lining piece is looking. You can see the bust, very firm and sturdy. Also the crinoline, for it to relax, you are going to go ahead and place your hemming gum in between your crinoline and your lining, and then you're going to go ahead and iron. Please, I advise you to use steam iron. Don't use your normal iron. If you're making use of the regular iron, make sure you put a fabric there to protect the crinoline. If not, it will burn. Okay, so take note of that. So I'm just showing you guys what the joining is looking like. So I joined with half an inch at the top and at the bottom. Now I've gone ahead to add my zip allowance and I'm showing you guys what it's looking like. So I've not joined the lower part of the dress after the zip, so that I'll be able to show you guys what the inside is looking like very neat and beautiful. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So this is what the bust is looking like. And then yeah, everything is just looking perfect. I'm loving it. So now we are going to go ahead and join that part that is under the zip. Okay, I'm just showing you what the top is looking like. The front, yeah, looking really cute and nice. After that, since I don't have a weaving machine, I went ahead to use my zigzag stitch to keep that part of the zipper allowance after sewing, to keep it neat so it wouldn't fray, because Mikado fabric frays a lot. I didn't know that because this is my first time working with Mikado fabric and it frays a lot. So it's either you weave it or use a zigzag stitch to stop the fraying. Okay, so this is what the back is looking like, really neat and beautiful. I'm so proud of this work. It's so beautiful. I'm loving it. Okay, so this is how beautiful it's looking like. And then I decided to go ahead and try it on for you guys, okay, so that we can see the fit before we go into beading. So this is what it's looking like, very pretty. I'm loving it. So now moving on to the beading, we're going to be making use of the size 10 beading needle. You can just go to the market and ask for beading needle, the size 10 beading needle, and then the beads I showed you at the beginning of this tutorial. So those are the same beads we're going to be making use of right now. Okay, I already started the beading, so I just decided I'll show you guys how we do this beautiful, really easy to bead. Okay, it's very easy, no worries. Before we start the beading process, this is the thread I'm making use of, the 0.25 mm thread, beading thread or fishing line, whatever you call it. So now starting with the beading process, you can see we are starting with inserting the needle in between my fabric. So you're inserting it out like half an inch further away from where your first beading is. So if you are starting from your zip allowance, you'll be starting from the beginning of your zip allowance, and when you add your beads, just give it half an inch gap. Okay, so let's say we are just starting afresh, right? So this is where we are starting. You can see that I'm working with small pearl, big pearl, small pearl, big pearl. After the small pearl, we're going to be inserting the big pearls. So I took my big pearls and I'm just going to insert that through my needle. Okay, and then we're also going to be inserting in the small rice beads. So the two of them are inserted in right there, you can see, right? Now we are going to take the needle and insert it again inside the pearl, not the rice bead though. You can see I pushed the rice bead away inside the pearl. Take note of that, okay? And then you just pull out. Simple and easy. That's just it. Very easy. And again, you'll be inserting your needle into your fabric, giving an half-inch gap, just like the way you've seen before. The rest of the pearls, they have half-inch from them, so you're just going to insert it that way. Okay, and then you insert it like half-inch away or 1 inch away, however spacious you want your beadings to be. If you want to be very close, you can use quarter. Whatever works for you is fine. So you're just going to go ahead and repeat that for the rest of the beads. Now after finishing that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my E6000 and then gum the rhinestones. Starting this, I decided to do the needle and thread method, but then it was coming up wonky and I didn't like it, so I decided to make use of glue. So yeah, take note of that. So I just went ahead to just glue it up, glued the first line first, and then decided to place a second line of rhinestones, okay, or the cup chain. So you place that round from one end to the other. So this is what the final piece is looking like, and I'm loving it. Stay tuned for the bow tutorial for this dress, okay? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial like I did. Please do make sure to like, share and subscribe, okay? And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.